as we reflect on the win that should put England through to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. Jos Butler is being seen off by his teammates there. He's leading them off, certainly 10 yards ahead of them, I would say, as everyone else hangs back. And it has been that sort of game for Butler. He's had an absolutely brilliant match. It was his superb century. Slowest start because England were in trouble. They were, 35 for 3 in the 6th over, with Roy out for 9 in the 2nd over. That was 13 for 1. Milan 6, he was bowled by Chimera. That was 34 for 2 in the 5th. Bairstow out first ball, bowled Elbowed Hazaranga without scoring. So 35 for 3 in the 6th over on a slow pitch, completely different to the sort of conditions that England have been playing up to now. And it was a time to regroup and to get together and get a partnership together. So Butler was really very patient to start with. He scored 35 runs from his first 38 balls, which is not really a Butler scoring rate at all, but he got himself in, he got used to the change. Morgan likewise, he could actually get a bit of time to just get himself set as well. And they put on 112 for the 4th wicket. For Morgan was bowled by Hazaranga for 40 from 36 balls, and Butler had started to play his shots by this time. He'd scored 66 from his last 29 balls, and including the last ball was a very welcome, rather generous full toss on about his pads, his knee, and he flogged it over square leg for 6, his 6th 6, and that took him to his first T20 century from 67 balls. He also hit 4 fours. So from that position of 35 for 3 and a really sluggish first 10 overs, clearly the game turned around on its head. 163 for 4 was how England finished. Sri Lanka lost an early wicket. Nissanka run out for 1 in the first over. That was a poor start. Azalanka was caught by Moeen off Adil Rashid for 21. That was 24 for 2. They were 34 for 3 when Pereira was caught by Morgan of Rashid for 7. Then 57 for 4. Fernando LBW to Jordan for 13. But then some useful runs added. Rajapaksa was dropped by Wokes out in the deep on 13. He went on to make 26. Shanaka 26 in a stand of 53 from 37 balls with Hazaranga, who fell to that excellent catch, one of those relay catches between Roy and Billings. I see on my notes here it's been Billings actually, who the court sub, who's been credited with that catch, but Roy actually took it, and before he hit the boundary he tossed it on. You've seen them lots of times before now. Tossed it on to Billings, who was in close attendance, and Hazaranga was out for 34. 129 for 6. It was a crucial over. That was bowled by Jordan. 1 for 4. He took as a run out as well. Karuna Ratne was caught by Roy off Moeen without scoring. Chimera caught by Milan off Jordan for 4. So the innings folded. They're 137 all out. So they lost, they certainly lost 4 for 10 at one stage. I see Jos Butler already gripping his trophy there. We'll hear from Jos Butler later on, which will be nice. So who have we got? We've got Ravi Bopara. We've got Alex Hartley to reflect on that, with lots of time to reflect on that. And we'll hear also from one of the England players who will join us at some stage, unannounced. I don't know who it's going to be, but I look forward to finding out. So where do we start? Ravi, haven't heard from you for a little while. How do you sum up England's performance there?
I think it was a very good performance, given that they had their backs to the wall at one stage in the first 10 overs of their batting. So it was looking difficult for them. The run rate wasn't quite what they wanted to achieve, and they had lost 3 early wickets. But they came back strong. They've got hitters all the way down the order, which gives them comfort, I think, in that back 10 overs to be able to play themselves into a base position. So they've done really well to get up to that score. And then I thought they started really well with the ball as well. They stuck to their plans. The plan was to hit the deck as hard as they can. They again went with their spinners early.
One of which we're going to talk to. It's Moeen. You've won the jackpot today, Moeen.
Oh, thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good. Well done. I mean, that was a really interesting game to watch, actually, because, let's face it, the other games that England have played, the opposition has been swept away, but that had a bit of hard work about it.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly what we needed. I think not that we needed to be tested, as long as you win those games. It's just that a few things obviously went against us when it comes to the dew, and then Tamal getting injured, and I just thought it was a great win in the end, and another confidence booster.
Yeah. Now, Jos Butler, I mean, he's been playing on clearly. I mean, there's a change in pitch pace, isn't there? I mean, looks much slower from here. We're a long way away, but he had to do quite a lot of adjustment, I think. From he's been playing brilliantly earlier on, but it's nothing like the sort of conditions that he had only a couple of days ago against Australia. So, a bit of time taken to adjust, and then wow, off he went again.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he played it perfectly. Obviously, with the talent he has, he knows he can catch up and score ridiculously quickly. And I thought that partnership with Morgs in particular really gave us a score, which I thought was obviously good. But then I just think the way he's playing and the way he's smart about his batting and how he can adapt, it just shows how good this team is and how good he is. Yeah,
and you were there 20 yards away. That last ball, quite a generous one for a man looking to hit 6 to get his 100. But tell us how you saw that one.
Yeah, I thought it was a match-winning partnership. Now I'm just joking, but no, he's even the ball before he backed himself, and at the death.
Yes.
Unless you're unbelievable, unless you're someone like Malinga, guys will miss at some stage, and he knows. Even though he was a half decent over before that ball, he was probably odds on to miss, and he backed himself. And with the guy who was in like that, he's always going to put that away. But it was a fantastic 100, probably one of his best ones for sure.
And how do you feel when you're batting with someone like Butler? You're standing there and you're watching this fella. I mean, can you predict what he's going to do or what he's looking to do? Can you sort of read him at all?
It's not about the prediction. It's more about like when you go in there, you just try and get him on strike, and if it's there for you, you try and hit it. But you want him to face as many as he can. But no, it's not about predicting. We've seen it too many times now where he's played innings like that, and I'm actually not surprised. He's such a good player. He's actually an amazing player, one of the best in the world for sure.
Yeah, and you got your opening spot back again today, Mo. You took the new ball. It was all we didn't see you at all the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about how we plan, and obviously according to the opposition, they had a couple of left-handers in the top three, which obviously then brings me in. And I thought actually Rush was amazing again in the power play, and those wickets were crucial. And the key thing was with the dew coming, we kept picking up the wickets and just pegging them back slightly, even though they had some dangerous players and the ground is quite small. So the wicket obviously definitely got better. But yeah, it was a great day for everybody, really.
Yeah. Now, what about this dew, Mo? Has it, how difficult is it? I know you've been practicing with wet balls and so on. I mean, is it frustrating that you're playing in a game and you know if you're going to be fielding second, you're going to be hamstrung by this?
I personally find it frustrating, and as a team, it's obviously frustrating as well because you probably have to score more than you probably was par on the wicket first of all, and then. Spinners in particular find it hard, and I know seamers obviously find it hard as well, but it just negates the spin really, and the wicket doesn't then grip as much and things like that. But that's what I mean. It was a great experience for the team and a great win in terms of the conditions that we had to face.
Yeah, what could be done? I mean, you're looking at the semi-finals and the final also played at night over there with this dew. I mean, it'd be a real shame if the games there those crucial games are badly affected by this.
Yeah, we just found in Dubai and Abu Dhabi it's been not as bad as Sharjah. Sharjah just felt muggy as soon as we got here. It felt like there was going to be dew. So I don't know the scientific reason why dew comes, but Dubai hasn't been too bad. So hopefully, like the semis and hopefully the finals, it won't be. No. It won't take effect.
Quite as bad. Just the last thought, Mo. I mean, it's always difficult when a bowler gets injured halfway through, isn't it? And the captain's got in his mind how he's doing it. You've been captaining T20 teams now. I mean, you've got so much going on in your heads, and then suddenly, bang, a bowler goes down. So that's not exactly what England would have wanted. But again, you overcame that.
Yeah. We had a similar situation years ago in Australia where I think Liam Plunkett got injured and we managed to win that game as well. So yeah, it's never great seeing a Premier fast bowler, especially someone who's so good at the death and with slower balls and has the pace. But we still have Woody in the wings, so hopefully the injury is not too bad. And I don't know exactly what the problem is, but hopefully it's not too bad and we can get him back again at some point.
Lovely to talk to you, Moeen. Take care of yourself. Get your feet up for a couple of days.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks,
Enjoy tonight.
Cheers.
There we go. There's Moeen. Lovely to talk to him, as always. Interesting, this Dew thing, isn't it? Well, just that's fresh in the mind. I know we've talked about it a bit during the match itself, Alex, but I think Moeen's quite right. It is frustrating. That was the word he used, wasn't it?
It is, and you play in world tournaments and World Cups. You want it even for both sides, and the toss shouldn't be that much of an issue, or shouldn't have that much of an impact, in such a short format of the game. So it is frustrating, but you've got to find ways, if you do lose the toss, to get over the line, and that's what England have done today. It was a hard-fought win for England. They were put under the pump at times. Not ideal that the toss is so important, but it's the same for everybody.
Is there anything that affects the batting team batting second to try and sort of even it up a little bit at all, or is it purely just really tough on the fielding side?
I don't think there's anything that really upsets the team batting second, unless the ball starts swinging in the night under the lights.
Right.
You might sometimes get a little bit, and it can happen in England on certain grounds, but not so much in other countries. Maybe a bit in Australia as well, but certainly when you're in subcontinent conditions or in Dubai, UAE, the ball just doesn't seam around, and it just becomes a big advantage for the team batting second, which is unfortunate. They've got to find a way of changing that. I know they've got that spray that they spray on the grounds. It works a little bit.
So fogging.
Yeah, it works a little bit, but I think they've got to come up with a system where the team batting first is rewarded more runs based on how much dew there's going to be.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. But I mean, he's gone right back to the World Cup final that Sri Lanka won. I mean, remember the tactics there? It was brilliant, wasn't it? Everyone thought Arjuna was mad, and it was simply because Shane Warnock couldn't bowl in and hold the ball. So I mean, it's been around for a long time, this issue, actually.
It hasn't. It's something that it's natural. You can't just turn off the dew. So there's going to have to be ways of, if we're going to have tournaments in places like this, on how do we tackle it, because a T20 World Cup, you shouldn't have the game won or lost as soon as the coin goes up in the air.
No. What else from Moeen caught your eye there? I mean, he spoke really nicely, actually. I mean, it's good to talk to him, but he just sounded, as Moeen is, quite calm and quite relaxed about the whole situation, really.
Yeah, it surprised me how calm and relaxed he was about Tamal Mills being injured as well. Nobody knows the depth of his injury. It might just be a little niggle, but the fact that he's got full faith in the fact that they've got Mark Wood on the sidelines as well, so they have got a like-for-like replacement, somebody that can bowl just as fast, and that's why this England squad's so good, isn't it? There's so many players around the country that could fill his boots. I mean,
they've adapted on all sorts of fronts today, really, including Mills limping off.
Yeah, they have adapted. I think Sri Lanka probably missed a trick there. They were definitely favourites at one point in that back 5 overs when Tamal Mills walked off, because he had already conceded 12 runs before he'd walked off. Still 3 balls to go in that over. It looked like Sri Lanka were going to take the game, but the change of ball made a massive difference. That moment there where they changed the ball, they sent out a drier ball, all of a sudden it started gripping a little bit for the leg spinner, for Livingston. And that's what brought about the wicket. Even the dot ball to start with, it just gripped away from the batsman who was used to the ball skidding through off the spinner, so which he would normally just cut away for 4. But because it gripped and turned away from him, he got a dot ball, which then builds pressure, and then the ball that he came down to hit for 6 just gripped enough to catch the outside half of the bat and get caught on the boundary. It's amazing little things, how much it can make a difference, which was a big impact for them. But I do worry about Mills's injury. I know he's been expensive in the last week, but he is really good at the death. I'm not sure Woody is as capable as he is at the death. So it may be a case where Woody has to bowl his overs further up front with the new ball, which means then the spinners will have to bowl a bit later in the innings. It will just mess up their blueprint a little bit.
Yeah, it worried me, the fact that they said so quickly that he wasn't going to come out and take any further part. I mean, that was kind of instant. Really?
Yeah, I think as a player as well, don't you? When you've hurt yourself, you know, you've just got to get off the field and hope for the best. He'll go for a scan, and then that'll show the results. But as a player, you've had niggles before, and you've had muscle tears before, and you know if it's a bad one or not.
Yeah. I think it's more with him. They wouldn't want to take the risk, not with Mills, because they won't want to get into that situation again in a more important game or in a semi-final where Mills gets injured and then he's off the field. They just can't risk that. So even if he is 70% fit, I wouldn't risk him because you just put
can't afford.
No, because you're gonna. If you do walk off, you've let the team down massively.
Yeah, there could well be a replacement coming in. Explain the procedure of changing a ball when it gets dewy. I mean, as a cynical old pro, Ravi, you know, how does the process work in persuading the umpires that actually this ball does now need to be changed? How does it work?
Keep getting in their ear.
Yeah, persistence.
All the time, just niggle away.
I think it's fair to change the ball.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's the one advantage that the team bowling second has. But that ball doesn't last long either. Probably 6 balls before that ball's soaking wet, and then just back to square one again. So, but that 1 over, it has to be done at a particular time, a really important time, and that's when England did it. They got the ball changed and they said, right, Livingston, now's your time because the ball might grip.
Yes.
It's all about timing. They got the timing right and it was perfect. It worked out perfect for
Well,
England.
they'll only change it once. I mean,
Usually, there has been games where balls have been changed twice in a 20 over game, but that was really, really bad dew in Bangladesh, where you get really, really bad dew. So even when the ball's rolling at you in the field,
spraying.
It's spraying you in the face. So it's crazy, but not often. I don't think in the UAE you get that type of dew.
Yeah. Have you worked on umpires in your career, Alex?
Yeah, all the time. I've had one where we've been behind the game and the ball's been hit for 4, and I've shouted to the fielder, roll it on the floor, roll it back along the floor, and then the ball comes and you go to the umpire, well, that's really wet now, can we change it? And then you change the ball.
So you literally give the ball to the umpire, who'll feel it and decide then.
Yeah, and they've got the ball measurer that they'll put the ball through as well. And I think if there are certain umpires that will be onto what you're trying to do, and they'll know, but genuinely it's a disadvantage to have a really wet ball, so you're in your right to change that cricket ball.
I'm sure we'll hear from Owen Morgan shortly. How important is that innings? I mean, people have been talking about it, and I've been chatting, I think, Steve Finn about this, and others earlier on, Stuart Law actually, rather than Steve Finn about batting. But how do you know when you're in form or out of form in T20 cricket? It must be really hard. I mean, you know if you're not scoring runs, but I'd have thought, Ravi, and you'd be able to answer this as well much more sensibly, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're out of form, because you just haven't got any balls to get in. You might just cloth one off to mid-off or something and out you go, and kind of you don't know yourself, do you, if you're in form or out of form? Or?
Yeah, it's a funny word, form. I think it's more of what mindset are you in as a batsman. Form is, you can score, you can be one of those batsmen that gets 0, 4, 5, then gets a big 100 and then comes back, gets 5, 6, a 14 and then gets a 70. So are you in form, are you not in form? If you're that up and down, I think it's more what mindset are you walking in when you bat. If you feel good and you feel confident, then for me that's good form. You're in good form. But if you're walking out with negative thoughts in your mind, you're thinking, "Where's my next run coming from?" Or this is a wrong time for me to come in, and all those negative things start creeping in. Then you're not in good form.
Yeah.
You may score runs on the day, but that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't mean you're thinking straight. So for me, it's all about how you go in thinking. You've got to get your mind in the right place as a batsman every time you walk out. Very difficult thing to do when you're under the pump and you haven't scored any runs.
And when people are writing about it, I wonder, I mean, I don't know if Owen Morgan reads the papers or you do these days or not, goes online and sees stuff, but if people again are writing the fact that Morgan's out of form, and he talked about it quite candidly, didn't he? He talked about dropping himself if it came to that. So again, especially I guess when you're captain too, and you're in that situation in which you're frustrated that you haven't scored runs, but you're still persuading yourself, actually, I know I'm all right, I know I'm okay. And today that was a really good 40. Again, he had a little bit of time, didn't he? He could actually just get himself in and play, because that was a situation of the game. And I wonder how important that innings might be actually for the rest of the tournament for Morgan.
Yeah, it was a good innings because he was a little bit under pressure where he was behind the rate a little bit. I think he was scoring at probably about 70 or 80 strike rate, which isn't normal for T20 cricket. But it was almost one of those innings where he scored, what did he score, 40 of 35, 36?
Yeah, 36 balls, yeah.
36 balls, nothing to write home about, but it's those 40 runs that he got, that partnership he had with Josh Butler, them also getting 2 points and winning the game. All those little things are going to contribute to him being in a better space when he comes out next time to bat.
Yeah.
So next time he comes out to bat, you might find he scores at a much quicker rate from ball one, takes more risks because he feels better about himself. He knows he's got 40 runs in the bank from the previous games, feeling better about himself. And it's funny what, just a few runs can do.
Yeah, he looks so imposing standing there, doesn't he, Alex? I mean, bat raised, he just looks, bring it on, bowl at me.
He does, and you would never know that he's under the pump. He's out there. He's got his routines. He's ready to take on the challenge. And yes, he was slow setting off, but it's not about his runs today. It's not about his 40 from 36. It's about the partnership he had with Butler, which then set the platform for England to go on and score that 163.
Well, Simon Dool has been talking to both the captains.
Yeah, thanks very much. I've got Dustin Shanaka alongside me now. Dustin, I know these ones are not easy. We'll start with the bowling performance. First 10 overs, outstanding.
Yeah, of course. The whole tournament, the bowlers being outstanding. In the first 10 overs, it's been a concern for us, the back end of every game. So hopefully most of the guys, this is their first World Cup and the experience is very low. So when they grew up and when they gain more experience, they will do really good for the team.
Yeah, England got away on you a little bit in that second half. What did you say at the halfway stage, and what were the team tactics coming out to bat?
In the second half, when we started batting, we know that a dew factor will play a major role in this wicket, but falling down wickets in the regular intervals really cost the match for us. But credit to the two batters, Josh and Morgan, the way they played. So they showed the experience behind them in the international cricket. So that's it.
You talk about having a young side, and these are learnings all the time. You've had some tough ones, and they've just got to continue to learn from these games.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 months back, we were not the same team. We were out of the competition. But see, these boys have come a long way in this tournament. So I'm really happy about the way the boys have been fighting. So going forward in the future, it will be really good for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives to look forward to as well. Thanks for your time, Dustin.
Thanks.
I know this one hurts a bit. Thank you. Time for Owen Morgan to come on in now, and I'm sure it feels pretty good. Owen, just your thoughts, I guess, just on the whole win first and foremost.
Yeah, here I'm incredibly proud of everything that we've done tonight. I thought the guys had to fight unbelievably hard, particularly with the ball and probably in the first 10 overs with the bat. Conditions did continue to change, and then obviously Tom Al going down asked another question of ourselves, but I thought Liam Livingstone and Moeen Ali stepped up unbelievably well to support the other guys with the ball. But I can't fault our guys tonight. We thought it was challenging for the top of the order. I thought Josh Butler played one of his best ever innings in an England shirt. It was incredible to be at the other end and watch just the ebb and flow, and then just sheer domination towards the end. He really is one of the best in the game, and a privilege to play with, and great to have on our team. But I thought all round fielding performance was pretty good given conditions and how wet things got. But we're just delighted with the win. Sri Lanka have pushed us further than we've been pushed so far in the tournament. I think they've boxed above their weight so far in the World Cup, so they should be incredibly proud as well of what they've achieved. But we're delighted with 4 wins.
I know Josh is quite a humble character, and he sort of didn't give away too much before, but what is it about him? What makes him so special?
I think a combination of unbelievable skill level and the calm nature in which he goes about it. He combines them along with sort of reading the game and knowing where to score and when to score. If he manages to get on top, he manages to punish you. So to see him in this sort of form in the group stages not only bodes well for the latter stages.
I know, talking to you in the last month or so at different times, there's been ups and downs. Your own form today, no, you always thought there was one around the corner.
Yeah, you sort of always have to believe, because if you don't believe, nobody else will. And I always do. Today was a bit of a tougher test. It's nice to be out there with one of my best mates, enjoying ourselves, although it's been quite tough, but just to get a partnership going and put something on the board to try and defend.
All right, 4 from 4. Put your feet up for a few days and maybe play some golf and enjoy some off time, eh? Thanks very much. And
cheers,
congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, Owen Morgan there. Victorious tonight, England 4 from 4 now.
They certainly are. Simon Dool talking to Owen Morgan. Let's have a quick look at these tables for you here from Josh Butler. England then top of Group 1 with a clean sheet. Played 4-1-4. 8 points, and that net run rate is just so far above anybody else. It's difficult to see really how they're not going to make the semi-finals. They play South Africa on Saturday. They've played 3 so far. They're in second place. Australia in third place, Sri Lanka fourth, West Indies trailing along, and Bangladesh haven't won a game yet. It's actually Group 2 that's the really weird one. Pakistan on top, Afghanistan second, New Zealand third, Namibia fourth, with India fifth, level with Scotland, having not won a game. So there's all sorts of bizarre goings on there. Right, man of the match, brilliant innings today, and I think Owen Morgan said it all about this performance by Jos Butler.
Your first international T20 100, what was the key to that?
I think staying patient, keeping my head. I think found it really tough early on. Managed to get a really good partnership going with Morgs, and we tried to attack the back end.
What were you talking about through that partnership? Because post the 10th over, you really did accelerate.
Yeah, we were just trying to get something going. I think we're finding the spin ball is really tricky, and for a time we're thinking 120 might be a good score, so that's where we were sort of working towards. And then we started to get going a bit, and worked nicely in a partnership, trying to each take the small side and try and target that. And I really enjoy batting with Morgs.
Are you the sort of player that tinkers with your bats? Do you change them around a little bit? You get a lower centre for these lower surfaces, or do you just use the same one because it's lucky?
No, I just use the same one all the time, even in the nets most of the time as well. If I find one I like, I just keep going with it.
Fielding was brilliant. Your run out, talk us through it. You were pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's probably the favourite bit of my day actually at the end. Obviously, we were under pressure there for a long part of that chase, knowing that Mo had to bowl that over. So to take that wicket there was crucial. So I was delighted with that.
And finally, the last 3 balls, .6. What were you feeling?
I was trying to guess where he was going to bowl, to be honest. I was pretty calm, but I think at that stage I've batted for a long time and just staying patient and hoping they'll miss.
Outstanding innings tonight. Well played. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant innings, wonderful run out as well. 101 from 67 balls. He hit the last ball of the innings for 6 to bring up that first century. Andy Zoltzman can wrap up things statistically for us.
Well, it's a rare occurrence on which England have batted first. Only the 4th time in 18 games in the last 12 months. They've won 3 of those 4. But they made a very slow start today, 47 for 3 in the first 10 overs. Their second lowest score at the 10 over mark in T20 international cricket. But then there was that late eruption. Butler scored 35 off his first 38, then 66 off 29 to register the 4th T20 international 100 for England England player in men's T20 international cricket. And the partnership with Morgan, 112, 26 in the first 6.4 overs, then 86 from the last 38 balls. That set up a competitive total, and we saw once again England's superb power play bowling. All 4 games in this tournament they've taken at least 3 wickets inside the opening power play. They'd only done so 4 times in their previous 28 games. And the spinners have been a key part of that success. Now, in today's game, Sri Lanka's spinners were magnificent, but only 2 of them, 3 for 34 in their 8 overs, and their seamers went for over 10 and over. England's spinners went for 6.2 and over, their seamers for 8.5 and over. Sri Lanka had Akila Dhananjaya in the squad, hasn't played yet this tournament, potentially a mistake by their selectors. But the performance of England spinners has been in stark contrast to some previous World Cups. They've taken already in 4 games 17 wickets at an average of 11 between them, and an economy rate of 5.3 and over. We go back to the last World Cup when England did very well and reached the final and were 4 balls away from winning it, when they took in the whole tournament 6 games 12 wickets, average 26, and went at almost 9 and over. You go back to the World Cup in Bangladesh, England only had 1 wicket by spinners in 4 matches. So there's been a huge improvement by England collectively. All the individual bowlers are doing magnificently. Moeen's taken 9 wickets in 17 overs in T20 international cricket this year, having taken 17 in 73 overs in his T20 international career. Before that, Liam Livingstone's given England a priceless 3rd spin option, and Adil Rashid has been characteristically excellent. So far in the tournament, England have scored at 8.7 and over with the bat, and with the ball they've gone at just 6 and over. You'd have expected those performances from their batters based on recent trends, but their bowling, having been one of the more expensive teams over the last 5 years in T20 international cricket, are the most economical bowling side in this tournament so far.
Andy, thank you very much indeed. As conclusive as ever. So last thoughts of Ravi and Alex. I think the only thing to beat England is the dew.
The toss.
Toss and the dew.
Yeah,
What do you think?
You might have a point. I think their toughest games haven't come yet. There's Pakistan in the other group. They may meet them in the semi-finals. If you look at through the 12 teams that are here, there's not a lot of them that are that strong. I don't think. For international cricket, we've seen better T20 World Cups with stronger teams, more depth in the World Cup. Don't quite have it in this World Cup, I don't think. So I think their tougher games are yet to come. Yeah.
There we go. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Last
I
thought?
think if Mills is out as well and they lose the toss and have to bowl second, that death bowling could become a problem for England. But they do look a very strong side, a well-rounded side. But yeah, as Ravi said, the toughest games are yet to come.